Hey, welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Adam.
Ark Survival Evolved.
That game.
Yes, it's all keeps getting in the news. Finally coming out of early access next month, and while that would normally be cause for celebration for most developers, it's a huge milestone, right? Been nothing but a headache for Studio Wildcard.
They're always riding that controversy train. This time, it's because they've doubled the price of their game before its official launch.
Doubled!
This is a really good move,
doubled
by the way.
it.
People really like this, which has resulted in lots of pissed off fans, and even another game developer calling the move greedy and fucking outrageous.
Oh, but before we get to those delicious tweets, let's give a little bit of a catch up here for anyone who's missed out on the last few steps. So Studio Wildcard announced just before E3 that Ark Survival Evolved would be finally releasing for realsies on August 8th for Windows, Linux, Mac, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
If you're somehow unaware of the massive mega hit survival action dinosaur game, which would be kind of hard considering it's moved millions of copies on Steam and is also hugely popular in the Xbox game preview program as well, the game has been in early access for a couple of years at this point and has been a major early access success story.
And while the launch would seem like good news on the surface, and it's good for games to come out, especially early access games. Sometimes it seems like they never will. Things have kind of taken a turn on this one. A lot of gamers were surprised recently to see that the game, which has been $30 for its early access run, doubled in price sooner than some expected. Like, immediately. The game now costs $60 or 70 euros on Steam.
According to Studio Wildcard's Twitter account, this was done to ensure retail parity for the upcoming launch, which was probably totally sufficient for the fans, right?
Yeah, nope. Turns out lots of people weren't happy that a game that's been available for years for one price now costs twice as much.
On Twitter, fans responded with comments like, "Can you fix your game before you raise the price?" And 70 euros, are you insane? Another fan responded, "That excuse would have been acceptable a year and a half ago and one paid DLC ago."
And it's already been heavily downvoted on Steam. Yes, that's right, the thumbs down brigade is hitting. Get ready for mixed, get ready for overwhelmingly negative. They're gonna show you how they feel. Some of the most recent reviews are all about the price hike, with one gamer writing, "Oh wow, £49.99, really? I feel ripped off for the price I paid. God help those that are really willing to pay £49.99 for a piece of buggy garbage. Greedy, bloody people, don't suppose you plan on sharing your income with the modders that actually bring better content than yourselves."
Another early access user wrote, "I remember the promises of optimization on DirectX 12 since very early in the development stage. Roughly a year and a half later, and those who held their breath waiting for this have long since passed."
Yeah, the people that held their breath are all dead. But it wasn't just fans who were upset. The price hike has now been called out by a fellow developer as greedy. Dean Hall, the creator of DayZ, made his feelings about Ark's launch known over the weekend, calling the price increase, quote, "fucking outrageous." Well, he said it was ing outrageous. We filled in the stars. Shitting outrageous doesn't feel quite the same.
Hall went on to say, "The game is nowhere near ready for that kind of price. It's greed, pure and simple. It represents a huge disconnect with the community."
Of course, DayZ's been in early access since 2013, so people in glass houses. But to be fair, he also left that project a long time ago.
Hall elaborated on his brief Twitter tirade a little more in an interview with PC Gamer. For him, he felt like the studio was being driven by suits rather than developers, in a rush to get the game onto shelves. He said, "I believe Ark, like DayZ or any other early access game, should remain in early access until it achieves the expected performance and bug standards of its price."
The controversy points to a unique issue with early access games, especially ones that stay there for a long time, because actually prices do tend to increase as they get closer to launch, almost like it's a discount. If you're willing to put up with it, it's super, super rough, but then as it gets more polished, as it gets more content, they start to increase the price, so it's not like it hasn't been done before. But while these programs do give gamers a sneak peek at titles that are under development, a lot of times give them an opportunity to get involved with feedback and guide the direction the game goes, it can sometimes create problems when the developer is finally ready for a full-fledged release, and whether or not the fans agree that it's time.
For his part, Studio Wildcard told Polygon that the plan all along had been to raise the game price after early access ended, and it did announce in June that a price hike would be happening. But doubled? The studio claimed that the big increase was needed because retailers wouldn't allow a price discrepancy between digital and physical copies. I don't think that's true. Look at other games like on the Switch.
The game's associate producer told Polygon, "Given Ark has over 3 times as much content now as our initial early access launch, we agreed with their requirements requirement to match the digital price to the disc price when pre-orders started. Otherwise, it would be out of the question to see Ark on shop shelves with a simultaneous release.
But of course, this isn't the first time the studio's come under a bit of fire for their pricing methods. Last year, they started a whole shitstorm when they released their Scorched Earth DLC, a rather fitting name, for $20, which at the time was actually more expensive than the main game thanks to a sale.
Yeah, fans weren't happy, really, when that happened because they felt like Studio Wildcard had diverted resources from the buggy and unfinished main title to work on DLC so they could make some more money from that instead of what gamers had already paid for. It definitely left a bad taste in the mouths of a lot of players and similarly received another good old-fashioned Steam review bombing.
There were also some concerns that the move towards paid DLC happened because Studio Wildcard's legal troubles. They were sued by Trendy Entertainment for breach of contracts and other shady business practices. They ended up settling for somewhere around $40 million. That's a lot of fucking money.
So yeah, not their first rodeo of crazy. All this goes to show that the longer a game stays in early access, the harder it can be to get it out. Fans get used to the way things are, and doubling the price is going to inevitably cause some hard feelings, especially if you've already released DLC and some fans feel like the game itself, the core game, is incomplete.
And it could spell problems in our new age of early access titles, with more games trying to move from early access PC success to proper retail release. It's definitely a weird transition period that more companies are going to find themselves in, and in Studio Wildcard's defense, they've maintained that this was the plan all along.
The reality is that this sort of thing, if not this exact scenario, is probably going to happen again, at least in terms of prices going up. It does happen, but hopefully other studios learn from what they've seen here. Maybe focus on addressing community concerns before trying to get their games on the shelf. Maybe if you want to be subtle about it, maybe not double the price all at once. Maybe you can go up a step, up another step here and there.
Baby steps. What do you guys think of Ark Survival Evolved raising its price? Is the game ready for a proper release, or is this just a cash grab? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your gaming news, including how they're coming for your hard-earned money this time, be sure you like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
Hi.
Yeah, we're pretty.
Nice, nice. So the prettifying up.
Yeah.
Made my makeup look wonderful.